Hello everybody, Darren here, and welcome back to Satisfactory. Now in the last episode, I set up the circuit board factory where we now have the capacity to make about 100 circuit boards per minute, provided we can actually flood the factory with the plastic and the quick wire required to do so. Today, we're going to be building out the manufacturer component of this factory where I'm planning on making computers from some of the circuit boards that we're actually making. So keeping it localized to this one place seems to make the most sense, but in order to actually bring the factory up to the capacity of being able to make those computers, we're going to need to invest in a new plastic factory and hook up all of the transport for the other materials, such as screws and cables, that we are currently making correctly. We just need to bring it here. So let's get to it. We have a lot to do. And of course, on the right hand side of the screen, we have our to-do list. First up is the manufacturer room. Then I thought it would be prescient to kind of build ourselves a power boost. I'm going to double up the amount of fuel generators we have because, of course, with the turbo fuel, we kind of made a lot more generators potentially available for us. We're kind of flooding the pipes with way more than they can handle, and we're sort of getting backed up, so I want to actually consume some of that in more power generators. That'll allow us then to start work on the next crude oil extraction out that way and build a whole plastic refinery room out here. Currently, we make a meager 60 plastic per minute out of just 3 refineries. I believe we've got 2 doing it straight up from crude oil, and then we have 1 that's using plastic residue from some of the polymer resin that we get, combining it with water. So that's all fine. We'll leave that the way it is, but we're going to tack on about 20 extra refineries, all targeting plastic, and then 4 additional refineries that will deal with some of the heavy oil residue coming out of there. So, in between episodes, I've kind of gone around, gathered all the materials I think I'm going to need for this. We're a bit short on some things, but I've left some boxes over there with some stuff in it. So, without any further delay, let's just get cracking because there's so much to get done. Because after that, then it's the transport routes. Now, I still have to build the train stations at, like, the screw factory and basically the cable factory. So, this probably not going to get the transport routes done, but that'll be the final thing in bringing everything together. So, here we are. Now, in between episodes, I should just point out, I redid these kind of staircases in here, so I've actually raised this one foundation up in terms of one wall height, really, right? So I've raised that up just a little bit, and now we're actually coming in properly here on the coated concrete, as before we were coming in kind of just down below it. I'm actually going to just cut this away anyway, because we're going to need to work under here in a moment. Of course, then we have our power switches and stuff in here. Still have just the 4 switches for the assemblers. And a decent amount of time has actually passed now that I've been kind of checking things out and kind of working out what I'm going to be doing. So these are working well. We're running at half capacity right now, which is basically the best we can do, considering the deliveries that I'm actually bringing in. Only making about 60 plastic means I can barely even sustain 6 machines, but for now it seems to be fine. And that means we've actually made a whole full, pretty much almost a completely full storage container of circuit boards, as they're just constantly making their way in there. So the place is running well, but, you know, we're at half capacity. We want to bring this up to full capacity, and then 5 manufacturers making computers, which I think is 12.5 per minute. So let's get started. So one of the first things we're going to grab is I like my glass foundations. I'll just pad this whole room out with glass foundations, and that's going to allow us to start laying out the actual manufacturers then. All the way to the end. Like that. Turn them this way. The reason I turn them is because I like to have that center bar kind of facing the direction that you'd want to walk. Otherwise, you'd have just like lines going across all the time, which, you know, depends on what you like, I suppose. And we have the welcome return of the Minecraft music today as well. Keep it that way. Cool. So when I was kind of looking around at laying this place out, again, I'm not sure if this is going to be a big enough room to deal with storage. We'll have to see how it goes, but I think what I'm going to do is those circuit boards are going to go up a floor to the logistics, because some of them are probably going to get taken away in a train to go somewhere else in the future, I would imagine. I don't know, but probably need to send some somewhere. And then the 5 manufacturers here, some of it will come back down the way we have them coming down over here. So that's the idea anyway. It's always the case where when I get done with the factory, just adjusted himself. When I get done with the factory, I'm always like, oh man, this needs to be like twice the size of itself, you know? But I think that's just the natural state of the game, where you're always like, I couldn't have really properly built that at the beginning without taking a very, very, very long time. But then when things actually get running again, and you start producing goods, then you have the capacity to sort of go, yeah, and like now I could have done like twice as big as I did. Let's see, I'm just trying to figure out where this is going to start. I think we'll pop it right there. Ah, yeah, I made a bit of a mistake. Sorry, I'm just going to redo these. I know what the problem is, though. Just need to shift it over a half foundation, then it'll be okay. So instead of starting there, I shouldn't have done it when it was kind of yellow clipping. But no problem. It's pretty quick just to put these down. I don't mind leaving this in. Ah, there we go. Another 2. And this is where I said I was going to use the cable ties. Of course, each of these manufacturers we want to kind of control separately in the control room. Just to make it kind of cool. And somewhat realistic, I guess. So what we're going to do is use painted beams. And we're going to make cable ladders. So I'll just fly up here really quickly. So here's our socket, if you whatever you want to call that, you know, connection point for power. So we'll start right about here and just drag this all the way out that way. And then we need to make 5 of these, 1 for each machine. Looks like we're getting a bit dark as well already. There we go. Alright, I'm just going to fly along this way and just pull all of these out till we reach the other end of the wall, really. Actually, I can do it down here. I think it works a bit quicker. Start from the back and work our way in. There we go. Right, so that's basically where the cable ladders are going to go. You're going to have to bear with me while it's going to get a bit dark. I'll keep the flashlight on, but it's just going to get a bit dark. Don't want to paint the beams just yet. So what we're going to start with is power outlets, and we'll just hop down on the ground right here. Look straight up and say, yeah, somewhere about here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll just fly up to that spot. Now I'm thinking actually, one thing I might do to change this, just really quick. Connectors might look good in here. Whoops. Yeah, you don't necessarily, I'm not connecting anything, but it might just kind of make things look a bit nicer. And I'll just check that the power sockets can go onto that, can they? Oh, they actually can't. Oh, that's a shame. I'm sure you could do it, but just for the sake of time and everything, I might be able to clean it up at some other point. For the sake of time, we'll just do it like this. It's totally fine. Alright, cool. So, we just need to do that 5 times over, basically. So, let's just do that real quick. Alright, so there we go. I've just laid out all of the power outlets along the top beams. So, we're just going to connect them all up with cables now. So, effectively, what we can do is work from the back in. So, we'll just do this, connect it to that machine. So, that's at number 5. This one we could say is at number 4. This one is up at number 3. And 2, and 1. Cool. So now we'll just hook all of these up and keep them along the same lines. So they're separate to each other. Of course, again, you don't need to do this. This is purely for if you want to keep your lines separate so that you can control them with power switches. Which we want to do that in the control room, similar to how we broke everything up for the assemblers. But if you want to just put everything on one network or just one big... yeah, just on one big switch maybe, you could just have them all together, of course. The reason I like doing this is because until I get the factory up to its full capacity, it's kind of nice to turn machines on and off separately, and it's just kind of cool to have the ability to do it. Makes the place feel more like a real factory, I guess. Alright, almost done. Just this last one here. So, the nice thing as well is we get this sort of cool looking effect, I think, of cables traveling along the roof. Now what I'm going to do is paint these black, and of course we're going to have that roof on here, just as similar to the way we do in there. So it'll be very dark indeed. It'll be kind of hard to even notice these beams standing out. I remember this is a bit of an issue where you got to get really up there if you want to look beyond the cable. I suppose even at this point we wouldn't have even seen those beam connectors, so it's probably fine not having them. Alrighty, there we go. Okay, cool. So that's what we got. Very hard to see in the darkness, obviously, right now. Of course, I haven't hooked up the lights yet. Just in here, I have temporarily hooked up the lights for the station upstairs. Oh, I didn't show that, actually, but I put a roof on the place. So that's another thing I've done in between episodes. So this place isn't hooked up yet to have proper lights through the hallways and stuff, but I will get there eventually. So the other thing now would be hooking these up to their own power poles down here. So if we just follow this down, I guess something like this, maybe. Hook these final ones up. keeping everything separate, and then they should just be able to feed under the floors into the control room and then into their own different areas. So, bit weird looking maybe on that side, and then they're supposed to just feed down to underneath here. I don't know how that's going to look, really. Is that going to look okay? Oops. Yeah, sort of like that. And then I guess what we can do is just lay out 5 of them, maybe 1, 2, 3. Yeah, something like that, right? And then you can just travel along underneath. Sun's coming up now, so it should make things a little easier to see. So there we go. So 5 lines. I haven't hooked them up to this point just yet. So I just need to go inside and actually lay out where the things are going to go. So I guess we need 5 more assemblers. Let's get rid of this wall real quick. I might need to get rid of the bottom light as well, the trim that we have down there. And make sure our switch is facing the right way. So that's assemblers 1, 2, 3. Four and 5. Alright, so those are the assemblers. What we could do just real quickly is cut this away, make this a glass floor, just so I can see what I'm working with when I go downstairs. Yeah. Okay. Love all this like unnecessary work that I give myself. All these things I make myself do. So I guess we'll just make a power outlet. Here. 1, 2. Okay. So basically, these just need to come in and connect over to those. That's as simple as it needs to be. Right, so yeah, so those four lines in there, right? And they just go further and further down, and that keeps us with straight lines heading towards the actual machines. It just means that if I ever come back and want to look at this later, it's straightforward enough how it all works. Okay, cool. So the final thing then will be just hooking these final bits up underneath. Right, so they're basically hooked up. We just need to jump upstairs, attach them to 2 more final points, so you go to there. Alright, we did it. Cable management. Pretty good. Alright, so in here, we can now get rid of the glass flooring, put back in the... Well, actually, before we do that, we actually have to hook it up, right? So, need to attach them to the B side. Okay, and then the floors can go back on. Smooth. No problems at all. Yeah. Just gonna attach further over. If I ever need to make changes to this, of course I'll do this in between episodes, but so far seems fine to me. Can't think of any glaring mistakes I'm making right now. Get this. Oh, I'm out of steel beams. Goddamn. I think I have some out in the car as well. So that's what we got, and then we said that we paint these black. Paint all the machines black, why not? Black. So that'll just join to that as I had it before, and then all of these now need to connect up to the power up this way. So I'll just drag this. I mean, it doesn't really matter. You could just have it all on the one line, right? So, well, I guess to keep the cables neat, it's good to have them above each machine. So everything's going to go offline for a second because I've just disconnected it. Just to see how I did it this way. So yeah, it was 1 up to each machine. That's fine. Okay. And our lazy connection point, temporary connection point is fine. So before I put the wall back on, of course, need to actually hook them to their A. And there we go, we're hooked up. So I think that's as fast as you can kind of do that, I think, that kind of power management stuff. So I'll just name one of these, and of course I'll name them all then later. So manufacturer 1. Let's do it this way, it might be cooler. A, B, C, D, E. Manufacturer A, B, C, D, E. Alright, cool. And they're all hooked up. And they're all offline right now. So just as a test, we'll just turn this one, pull the switch on that one. Of course, we're not feeding it anything just yet, but we should get some indication that it's hooked up, no? Let's see. Uh-oh. Something's wrong. No power connection. Oh, I know. I don't think I've given them recipes yet. That could be why. Ah, yes. Copy settings. Let's just copy the settings of these. Apply to everything. It's just computers. And one of their lights should come on. There we go. So manufacturer A is actually at the back. Well, fair enough. And then we'll just put down... I don't have any glass or steel left, so we'll have to leave it at that. It's a bit of a rushed job, but I mean, we can't use the machines right now anyway, so it's more about just getting them in place. I guess the last thing would be the logistics, right? We want to get those floor holes in, so I'll just do one on camera, and then we'll do the rest. I'll do the rest off screen. So again, similar to how I've had it before, this needs to just come back one, so something like this. Should be there. Okay, so we just pull this down. And there we go. So similar to the assembler room, things are just going to be handled upstairs and then just pulled down and fed into these machines. So the circuit boards that are needed, obviously we do make circuit boards right over there, but they're probably just going to go upstairs, get sorted, because some may end up going to a train station in the future, who knows, and then the rest will just come this way. I guess technically right now, all of them need to come this way if we want to power these all on, but that's why we've got switches. We could turn 3 of them on, for instance, and just leave 2 of them dormant for a future date. So right now, I'm just going to really quickly add all of these elevator lifts. Alrighty, so I've just hooked up all of the elevators to each manufacturer, so should be pretty straightforward in how we feed all the different goods down, especially since we laid out upstairs in a pretty good way. We'll have a look at it in just a moment. Also, I did decide to run out to the car, grab the steel and silica that was just sitting in the back of it, and just hook up all of those, or put in the windows. Also put the railing around the edges as well. What else? Oh yeah, and my OCD kicked in where I was like, I gotta change the layout of the wiring underneath, because I do want to have A, B, C, D, E, and that is working now. So all it was just the wires literally right below me. I just reorganized them to feed into the right ones, so it didn't take long at all. But yeah, now we've got a little bit of a nicer layout. 5 manufacturers just sitting in there pretty. We don't have a back on the building just yet, because I just don't know fully yet if I'm going to extend it or not. I don't think I am after this, but I'll reserve putting on a back until I'm sure about the storage situation over on the left side. So just really quickly, I thought we could go run upstairs, have a quick look at the situation with the logistics now. And we can see all of the floor holes that we've to feed things into. So we've got 4 there, 4 there, 4, 4, 4. So we have, of course, quick wire coming down over there, which is only needed for the circuit boards. Then we've got plastic, which is needed to come out this way. So one of these is probably going to send its plastic out this way and then divide it up between these 5 different machines. Then, of course, we've got the next 2 panels over are going to be for screws and then cable. So that'll have to be divided up between all these machines. And that should be everything, right? Oh, and then somewhere we're going to bring up circuit boards. So logistics will take a while to kind of hook all of those things up. We don't need to do that now because we just don't have the ability to really power on these machines. I mean, do I even have the ability? No, I don't even have the ability to power on one of them. Unless I just manually fed like a box of screws or something. So yeah, so that's the kind of situation. So I think we're pretty much done now with the manufacturer room until we bring everything else up to scratch. And then once deliveries can happen, we'll just finalize the logistics to make sure it can actually run. So I'll just check really quickly. Yeah, so let's have a look at the amounts, right? So we know that we need 125 circuit boards. So 22.5 cable times 5. That's 112 cable, 113 cable almost. Plastic, so 45 per minute. It's going to be 225 plastic is needed for the manufacturers, not counting what's needed for the assemblers, for circuit boards. And then 130 screws. So 650 screws, which we make. We make 1,100 screws right now. So, and we actually, I think we make close to enough cable, but we might dedicate a whole factory to making cable to bring it over here and to future projects, I'm sure, as well. Alright, so it's time to say goodbye. Let's toggle this off on the manufacturer room. Let's get to that power area. And then we can give ourselves a boost of power. It should be, I think, relatively straightforward to do this. Everything's pretty much there and laid out for an extension, an expansion. So we'll just drive over. When looking back on this factory, I think it's like actually really, really small. It's basically smaller than this one over here. At least in... yeah, I think even in total surface area, even counting the upstairs components. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't go upstairs. You're not missing too much. It's just a roof. There's some lights up there, but they don't fully look great, but the wiring is hooked up so that they do work. I'm just gonna park up in here. And what else do I have in the back here? Whoops. Yeah, a bunch of concrete. Do I've got much free room? Yeah, let's just take some of this. Gonna need some concrete now. Alright, let's make our way inside. Let's expand the power generator rooms. So sorting and packaging. This place is all working really well. It's still possibly my favorite factory I think I've done yet. So, fuel, turbo fuel gets made in there. And then it gets fed into the generator and battery room here. So we've got basically 8 fuel generators in here. So I'm just going to effectively expand it out this way. As if it was just another room. So it needs 6 foundations across. That's how wide it is over there. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh yeah, I'm really short on steel. I'll have to go make a run and get some. I don't know why I'm so short on it, but steel beams. Alrighty, there we go. So that should be the length that we need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. So it's basically going to have an identical layout to the other side. And we can probably sever this wall. So you can see in there. I just dropped a crate now, did I? Oh no, apparently not. Apparently I dropped a crate somewhere else. All the way out there. Okay, well, whatever. I'll have to go get it later. So, should be pretty straightforward layout for this thing. So that... I think we have to... yeah. We'll just get rid of this, and we can extend the concrete out this way. So 3. And this is where the walkway is going to have to be. So I'm just trying to get that down first, and that will kind of orientate ourselves for everything else to come. Really need to hotbar that glass foundation. It's weird, the glass foundation just doesn't use glass, so I always forget to carry silica with me when it comes to the windows. Alright, so just 10 straight down the line like this. The power generators on either side. Gonna have to give him a bit of a boop. Get the hell out of here. So that's our other deposit over there. Of course, the train station is up above me. We can see our quick wire actually coming in now. Oh, that just reminds me. Damn, I actually need some quick wire. Crap, I can't get it quick enough though. Funnily enough. Alright, so let's just turn this sideways. Cut it in there. I've done this correct. There should be... yes. Alright, nice. Get rid of that. Now we can join these together as they've always wanted to be. Instead of having to use a half... like doubling up the foundations like that, they can actually just fit properly now. Except this one can't, but whatever. Alright, cool. So yeah, I guess we'll just cut away some of the concrete here. Actually, I don't even think I need to... I might leave the wall. It might be fine. Just have this as a separate room. And then we'll have double wall outlets to feed into the other one. So let's just grab... do I have what I need? I'm lacking the heavy modular frames after building all those things. So I'll just grab the... I think we've got some in the car. Oh my god, I gotta go all the way and get them again. Okay, I'm just up where the plastic was kind of, you know, ham-fistedly feeding up towards the train station up above us. So it's a nice little bit of high ground that we can kind of look down and see where these need to really fit. Obviously, the great thing now is that they should just line up with the ones behind them. Just face them out this way, bring them as close as I can to the edge, and that should be it. So one there. So we need to put down 8 more of these and then hook up the turbo fuel, basically. So yeah, you're in a line, good. So yeah, I'll have to just double check how much turbo fuel we make that this is okay to do. I think it is. I think we can literally just double our power output here without any changes to anything. Even the compact coal consumption, I think. So just hop down here real quick. Maybe actually up here a bit. What am I short on now? Rubber. Okay, well that's not too bad. We can just get rubber from downstairs. In the packaging and sorting room. So while we're down here, I'll just take a quick look at the turbo fuel and see... Okay. See how much do we make. So 18.75, we got 5 machines. 18.75 times 5 will be 93.75. 93.75. Each of these machines takes 4.5. So that's going to be, we can have 20 machines and then still have that little bit of extra, which would be perfect. But I'm actually going to have 16 machines because it's 4, 4, 4, and 4. So we could have 5, 5, 5, 5, and that would give us our 20. And we'd have a little bit to spare, but I suppose a little bit extra to put in those packaging, in the packaging room is probably good. We arguably have a little bit too much to spare, but whatever. Maybe instead of the batteries at the other end, we could just add on 2 more, something like that. Well, anyway, we know that we have enough. I just need to grab the extra rubber so we can build these machines. This is our rubber. Nice. Alright, cool. Just run back over, build these final 4. There's so many moving parts to this, I forgot that I needed to get some extra quick wire. Thankfully, this is just chock full of it. I'm just going to hop off here. I had to run all the way back down to Circuit City. But we are back in position. Alright, so finally, I can get these done. So let's get that lined up. Bring it forward. Bring it pretty much as forward as I can. There we go. Should be straightforward after that to just add the other ones on. Can I stand on this chimney, maybe? There we go. So yeah, just make sure they're both lined up. There we go. I remember the first time I had to put these down, I had such pain. I think I might have cut out like so many failed attempts at like putting them down correctly. It is tempting to throw the extra ones in right now, right here. So I think I'll do it, just because that'll bring us up to, you know, roughly about 18 consumed per minute. Something like that. Just make sure that they can actually fit in here. Yeah, right about there, right, isn't it? And there. So my initial plan was to actually have a cut through to go through here, but I guess just knowing that I can fit a few extra fuel generators in there, I think it's worth doing. Yep. The plan was to get crude oil and actually feed it along underneath the walkway that was going through here and bring it out there into the new refinery room. But I could just bring it around the outside, it doesn't really matter. And like keep it in a, we could just extend this area out here. That's fine. I think for the sake of having an extra, what is it, 150, is it? Yeah, I think for having extra 300 megawatts, I think I'll take that over just the oh, it would look nicer kind of situation. Alright, so pretty good. Now we just need to hook this all up with the piping and feed it the turbo fuel. We should have enough. So where the hell's my piping? Did I just go buy it? Yeah, there we go. Alright, so in order to make this go a little smoother than it has in the past, I'll just cut this around here. We'll fall down. I don't have to be ducking and diving or anything like that. So let's just put down the junctions, I guess, first. Cut that there. So the turbo fuel is coming in over here. We could let that valve still be the controller of it, maybe. Or what would probably make more sense is bring it along here and then have a new valve that does the same thing, but on this side, yeah? Something like that. I'm going to be lazy though, just because I feel well, not lazy, I'll do it in between. But you know how I've done those before. I'm going to do that again, but that can be really finicky to get right, so I'll do that in between. I love my valves, you know me. But So what I'll do is I'll have the very same thing coming up and around here, but for now, let's just feed it in, like, you know, normally, I guess. So I'll try to even still make it look kind of nice. Is this going along the center? Yeah. 1, 2. So that should get an abundance of turbo fuel flowing down this way as well. Temporarily, I suppose, stick this down here. And just say, I don't know, 60. Alright, cool. So that should be fine. I know I could just leave it flowing completely and it would probably be okay, but I like to set the numbers. Anyways, so right now we'll just go with crimson for the pipe color. So it's turbo fuel. Give it our McDonald's flair, as people pointed out before. And then we'll just change it to gold. And then put the trim on it to make it look a little nicer. Sweet. Alright, now it's just the glass foundation part all the way back down. Only other thing then would be switching this back to crimson and switching this to gold, hitting yes, and then coloring it like that. There we go. Alright, so basically hooked up, we just need to now power it. So to do that, just gonna go to the back here, see where we've got these power lines, and do something very similar. So that's where we need to have the connection points. Yeah, so I suppose ideally... Why does it go down that way? I don't know. Ideally this would be a double point, right? So let's see if we could do that real quick. A double wall outlet. Does it fit on the... Oh, it probably doesn't work on the beams, thinking about it. Alright. Interesting. Yeah, I guess these are traditionally on the wall. Okay. So double power outlet there. And then they can just like be... Whoops. Be hooked up together. That powered on just like immediately anyway. Why the hell was that? It wasn't even hooked up yet. Just by putting a cable to it. That's pretty weird. Anyways, so I'm just gonna do that for the rest of these, right? I'll put on those double lines. Yeah, they're still like powered on. I guess, I don't know. Yeah, I didn't know. Do you just put a cable to it and it just powers on itself? I guess it's hooking up its own little network and supplying it with, yeah, just burning fuel into nothing. Alright, anyways, so yeah, I'm just going to do that, hook all of these up all the way down, and then do something similar on the other side, and then we can get out of this room and then get to the next part, which is crude oil extraction. Alrighty, there we have it. 10 brand new generators using our excess turbo fuel, which we were just producing anyway. So that's going to give us a nice big power boost. We're now up to a capacity of 4,330 megawatts. Consumption potential is still above that, though, if we had everything turned on and powered on and working all the time. So that's kind of alarming. It's like, oh, if the motor factory was fully up and running, if the steel refineries were all up and running, we actually wouldn't have enough power still. But it's fine. We're like well above what is actually functioning right now, and we've got more than enough materials coming out of those other places that are just backed up after so long. So that's going to be power boost done. So next up is going to be crude oil extraction. So obviously this still needs a roof put on it. I need to do lights and things like that. But I think just because in the other episodes I've done these things already, you don't necessarily need to see that. I'm trying to make the episodes full of like the important building stuff. And obviously if I'm doing new ideas, like I was hooking up the power to the breakers and stuff before, that'll always be, you know, I'll always be showing that. But some of the minor stuff, like, yeah, I'm going to put windows in here. I'll probably extend the lights. I might move the stairs back. I don't think you need to see that because I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. There's probably going to be quite a bit of trial and error in it. But speaking of things I don't know how I'm going to do, let's see about this. So out this way, let's get out of that noisy room. Oh man, my beautiful work of art is becoming a disaster. But the idea would be that over here, we'll extend out this area. Pretty much. Something like this. I don't think we need to go much further than that. Sun is rising as well. Good. So yeah, so we'll just extend this all the way out. 10 out each way. See how many refineries we can kind of fit on here. So, I've just expanded out this whole area here, yeah? We can cut away all of this. Doesn't really do anything. I think there's some lights maybe on the walls up on top, but generally speaking, we can get rid of it. Before I delete that by accident. Let's toggle that, toggle this one. So I want this to be kind of part of the same room, because it's all a big refinery room. So we can get rid of this beam. Get rid of this. Cool. And this will probably extend out this way, so we'll get rid of this also. Nice. So yeah, let's just extend this out this way. And I'm not too sure of the exact height that we're going to be using here. Let me just see if I can jump up top real quick. Getting low on my packaged fuel. I've noticed people mentioned that, you know, packaged fuel is used for the jetpack, and I don't produce it anymore. I do have a container of like 7,000 of it, so I'll just keep pulling it from that while I need to. But it would be good to have. I mean, it'd be nice if you could just use turbo fuel to fly around. But if they never patch that, or they never do that, then I'll be using packaged fuel. I'll have to make a tiny little area that makes packaged fuel literally just for me to fly around with. So anyways, what I was thinking is crude oil is there. I'll probably add more fluid buffers here and bring in crude oil out and around. Like I said, I was going to bring it through the buildings, but now we'll bring it out and around. So if crude oil, for instance, was like so, I'll just get this, was on that line, and then it fed down that way. Yeah, maybe about here. We can get rid of that, but we'll just so that I can illustrate this a bit better. So let's just say that's where it's going to be coming in, you know? Yep, so this way. So crude oil is going to be coming in this way, and I want to bring just straight up 600 in on this pipe. Pipes can take 600, so we'll bring 600 in. And then we're just going to slam down 10 of these refineries. Hopefully we can fit this and make it look okay. Alrighty, so just to do the math on this, 10. We're going to make regular plastic, right? So just plastic. Byproduct of heavy oil residue. 30 crude oil per minute. So that's going to be 300 because we just put 10 down. So I'm going to put another 10 down, get another 300. And out of the deposit, we'll overclock it so we can get 600 out of one deposit. That's why I wanted extra power, just to make sure that everything's okay, but we do have lots of power anyway. So that's going to be 20. So 200 plastic per minute is going to come out of here. And in total, we should be able to get 400 plastic coming out with 200 heavy oil residue, I guess. So then the other thing... Oh, actually, I realized I won't have enough to make the heavy oil residue refineries because I don't have enough motors with me. I'll have to just do that at a separate time. But, yeah, so the heavy oil residue ones are going to convert... Well, let's just have a look. So we're going to produce 200 heavy oil residue. And we're going to use that to turn it into fuel. Residual fuel. Residual plastic takes polymer resin. Nothing else seems to take heavy oil except petroleum coke. Used for crafting. Carbon-rich material used for heavy oil residue. Yeah, I don't think I need that. Or want that. Yeah, so basically I'll just be making residual fuel and we'll throw that in so we can make extra turbo fuel eventually. But I think I'm just going to be storing it up and trying to dump it at some point. I'll probably just do that with heavy oil residue. Just put it in fluid buffers and just like click that switch every now and then just to drain it into the water here, which is no problem at all, right? Because until I go back and get those motors, I won't have a way to refine it. And until I find a way to consume it, the fuel, that is, the machines will get backed up with heavy oil. So I don't really know what I'm going to do there. Have to balance the load. Otherwise, you'll have to go to the network and keep flushing it, which you can't be having that. Alright, so I basically just hooked up all of the machines with their piping and their junctions underneath. So, pretty straightforward, you know, obviously just little junctions with pipes feeding into every machine. However, I did realize I hadn't left space for a walkway out this way, so I ended up cutting away one machine there and one machine there and sticking them on the end. So there's still 20, but I just thought I should point that out, that I did cut that away. So now we can just drag this out as a walkway that we can use for later. And I think what I'll do is, see, I haven't really planned this out, or I'm not 100% sure exactly how I should do it, but I think I'll keep the lines separate for now. And what we could do is add industrial fluid buffers here. Not that we need them, I like having them, but something like this and that. So there's one there. We could just have, again, 2, maybe 3. Yeah, we could have a third one, why not? So that should keep the gaps the same. Yeah. Alright, so then this feeds into there. And we'll just hook these up together. Good. So I guess fuel should come in here, or crude oil rather. So let's do about there. And then this needs to just attach down that way. Oh, you're killing me. Pipe's too short. Boom. Got him. Alright, cool. So there we go. So we know that crude oil is going to have to come in this way. Just as a temporary thing, we'll just stick that there. So that's going to be crude oil flowing all the way along down here. We can turn this way. Could do it that way. Nah, this way's better. All the way down. So we can cut this away, Save some of the materials there. Right, so this might change, so I'm not going to put walls up or anything, because what might change is we need 4 extra refineries. Now, we've got this nice kind of like shape in here for the heavy oil residue, so maybe like heavy oil residue will come out this way, feed underneath, maybe even feed up alongside here, come out and feed into 4 refineries here. That would keep the place, you know, this part of the same building, and then we could maybe even join on that heavy oil residue here, or, you know, depending on what we're putting out. If we're putting out extra fuel, we can attach the fuel line here. Because, of course, this is our heavy oil residue comes in here. And we're producing residual fuel and sending it out that way. So it would be kind of nice if we could just, like, line this up somehow. The only issue would be that this belt is sort of in the way. But we could just travel the belt along further over this way or something, you know. We can reorganize that without too much hassle, I think. So that's the situation. So let's just move back over. So I think I've pretty much got it all ready. We just need the mergers, right? So I have to do the logistics for the actual belts, and we can watch our plastic flowing out. Now, ideally, things would actually be flowing this way, because we want to head towards the train station. But I don't think it would look as good that way. Maybe. You could kind of send it out this way, maybe. Do I need to cut that? Yeah, I don't need that there. It's from the old machine. Let's just get rid of that, just in case there's issues. Join them on fresh pipe. Yeah, so just a little bit unsure of where this is going to go up. I mean, ultimately, it could just literally just feed up here. It doesn't have to have anything special, but, you know, trying to tuck it away, keep it looking clean or nice. Not too sure another way we could do it. Sending it out that way and sending it up and above would be weird. And there is room underneath here to kind of send it back out this way, so maybe I'll do that. That could look good, right? A little belt traveling alongside here. Yeah, that could look good. Okay, I'll do that instead. So, I'll just show what I'm planning. We'll get a merger. I'm going to have to find this sort of midpoint here. So that's a half point and a half point. 1, 2. Yeah, so 2 is in the middle. And that's lined up there, is it? Yep. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So just to, again, illustrate it one last time before I just go off on my own. Hook that up. Hook that up. So I guess, actually, yeah, it's a bit tight thinking about it. I mean, that's unfortunate. I guess there's not even enough, there's not enough space between refineries to feed them onto the same belts. But if let's just see what that would look like. Yeah, it's not great. It doesn't look that bad, but I don't think it would work. So what I'll need to do then is maybe raise it up even further, and then the elevators on one side are going to be different than the other. Something like that. We can put stilts on it and stuff to make it look a bit nicer. So then this would feed up to here. So what we'll end up having is this look of... Yeah, I mean, that's okay, right? We just need something to make it kind of look like it's held up by something, but that's okay. So we'll have 2 tiers of belts running, and then they'll have to just merge somewhere else. I guess, how does that work at the end? I have no idea. What a pain. It's either that or I start separating these out by 1 tile and have to redo all the piping. God. Is that how I did it over that way? Yeah, I just never doubled them up, I guess, across from each other like this, so... Damn, that's a pain, isn't it? That's so annoying. I staggered them this way so that the pipes would line up together, but I guess I didn't really think that the mergers don't line up this way. I guess in theory the mergers lining up would have been easier and the pipes just could have just fed into each other, because they can kind of feed anywhere, whereas the mergers can't. Oh man, I'll have to redo it then. I'll have to redo it. We'll have to do it with the idea that junctions can just happen with the pipes everywhere, but the mergers are going to have to be the central point of the of where the machines actually go. Alright, so back to the drawing board with that one. Alrighty, that was painful, but there we go. It looks pretty good now though, I gotta say. Pretty satisfying. I love this like little tunnel we have in like kind of underneath it all now. So that is 20 refineries all hooked up on belts. I had a little panic attack. I was like, oh no, is there too much plastic for the belts to even handle at this point? But no, we have 400 plastic. My belt can take 480, so we're okay to keep it all on one belt. That's fine. Of course, now though, we have to hook up the heavy oil residue to flow out underneath and maybe head off to the left. So this is going to flow out that way, head off to the right, heavy oil out to the left. Alright, so in trying to hook these up, I realized I've come to the same problem that I just had with the mergers, which is that the junction pipes are a bit too close together for the 2 entrances. Can't quite line them up together. Now what you could do is just have it kind of in between and feed the pipes in like this. So, I mean, that's fine. What I'm going to try and do instead though, because I'm just a bit weird, is I'm going to have them go separate to each other and create 2 parallel lines, and then they'll merge at the end. And this way, I think, let's just try this out at least once, and if not, then I will do the curved ones. This way we just don't have to ever bend a pipe. And I know that's really weird, but I don't know, I just feel like it looks wrong that the pipes are bent. It's like, well, why would they be done that way? I don't know. So let's just see. As long as the only thing I wanted to test was, does it clip or break with these? No, it doesn't. So that's totally fine. Now it's crammed AF in here, but I can kind of... Oh my god, my head! I just keep hitting it off the conveyor belts. Should have put the belts in later. I might delete those belts just so I can freely work on this. So there we go. Right. So we're gonna color this purple. I don't know if I saved a preset. Yeah, there we go. Heavy oil residue. Nice. Good job, Darren. So we'll color them purple. That's the kind of general idea, that heavy oil residues gotta be taken away from here. That's kind of what it's, and that's what it's gonna look like. Sorry, I've been recording 2.5 hours now, so I'm starting to misspeak. But basically, this is gonna be the look and feel of the whole thing going down. So we'll still have a little bit of space to run in between, technically. Not that we'll ever need to, hopefully. And maybe we'll put a walkway up above it. That might be nice. Could maybe do that, maybe. So yeah, so that's the situation. So we're just going to feed out that oil. God, I am losing my mind. Heavy oil residue all the way down to the left, all the way down to the end, pull it out to the left. This is going to go all the way down to the end, pull it out to the right. Let's get cracking. Alrighty, done. So all the pipes are now hooked up. So we've got 2 lines of heavy oil residue running parallel to each other underneath the conveyor belts for the plastic, which should be about 400. So we can just follow the lines all the way down. Looks pretty neat, pretty tucked away, good spacing, kind of worked out in the end. And then just at the end here, they kind of join onto one and feed out. So they kind of feed out to the same location. Like they both, they both come out here or here. So heavy oil residue is going to go that way. For the moment, I've just put down a temporary fluid buffer, which we can just keep draining. Probably need a bigger one, to be honest, but it's just temporary. We only make, so what'll be 200. Oh god, yeah, that's actually going to be fill up really quickly, isn't it? It's 200 per minute, and this holds 400, so it would fill up in 2 minutes. That's kind of crazy. So yeah, let me get the industrial one down, because it's just like, it's 2400 I think in the industrial one, so I guess I'll just do that. Again, it's just temporary until we have refineries to handle it, but I just don't have the motors with me right now to do it. So just put this somewhere about there. So it's 2,400. That buys us a little bit more time. But it'll just be nice to see the plastic flowing out for once. So let's see. Piping. There we go. Feed it in. Okay. Alright, that's ready to hold all of our excess. So, we're almost ready to go. The last thing to do will be to... I gotta hook this side up, but then we also have to turn on the oil extraction. The new oil extraction, so I'll have to hook that up as well. So, let me just get to that. I'm just gonna hook up all the junctions here. Getting a bit low on piping. I'm gonna have to run back over. I keep having to make trips over there. So yeah, just gonna kind of hook all these up. And then we can go turn on oil extraction and then send a belt all the way up to the train station and just be done with it for a while. Oh yeah, actually, so I'm basically just on a train right now heading back towards my motor factory. And I thought it was worth pointing out, beside the UI, I've built several more of these kind of stopgaps where the signals are held. So every second signal... Is that the situation? Oh no, every signal, yeah, every signal, which is every 48 foundations. Every 48 foundations you got one of these, and they're all powered on. The lights have come on now at night. They look good, right? I think so. I think they look pretty cool. Don't know if they've got any bearing on reality whatsoever, but I like them. I think they look good. So of course the screw factory is completely offline right now. It's not producing anything. Truck waiting down there with nothing in it. The awesome sinks are both completely empty. That's all well and good. So I'm just coming down now basically to the motor factory. I just built this train super quick and I'm just going to pick up motors, pick up some copper sheeting that I was low on as well, and then make my way back. So remember, this part is temporary. But it should get us started. Might see as well if there's a place I can put down a double connection. Yeah. Let's be a bit even lazier, because again, this will change, but just hook it up that way. Close the gap. You never saw it. We'll just throw in the overclocking things here. Do I not have them with me? Are you kidding me? Oh, there they are. Okay. Boom. 600 per minute, 173 megawatts. Let's go. Alrighty. So that should start filling up the pipe all the way out to all of these machines. Now, these machines haven't been hooked up to power. I'm going to have to do that now. And we should see the fluid buffers start getting full as well. Eventually. So yeah, a little excess comes in. So I guess it flows in. Oops, sorry. Flows in this way. Some of it's going to go left, fill up these things. Some of it's going to go right and start filling up the machines. I'm fine with that. I think that seems to work out fine. I guess I don't really know why you need fluid buffers, to be honest. If you just have the set rate and you want to fill up your machines, I'm not really too sure what you'd use them for. Let me know in the comments if you have a use for them. I like them just because they're cool. And like if the power dies or something, somehow, I don't know, at least you've got the pipes stay full for longer that way, in theory. But yeah, other than that, I don't really know what they'd be used for. Okay, so yeah, power, that's really it. Okay, there we go. So I just pasted the settings onto each one of them. They are all now powered on. It's pretty cool. You can actually just run along the top of them. I've mentioned that before with those ones. So you could just like, I just ran spamming like Control V, turning them all on. So plastic is already just going to get backed up immediately because I actually have no way of bringing it out anywhere. So down here is where it comes out. So we're going to have to get ourselves a belt and drag it all the way around. Probably should have done that first, actually, thinking about it, but oh well. Drag it this way, get it into the center. 1, 2. Alright, so this will take all of our 200 plastic per minute. No, sorry, 400 per minute towards the train station. And then we just need to find a way to bring it up there. I guess just some elevator that takes it all the way up would be good. And that will deliver it to our Circuit City. Sweet. Alright, so Yeah, I'm just basically gonna fly right up there and then just hook this up in a big ugly looking way, because this stuff I'll have to take a while to kind of figure out a nice layout, and I just haven't done it yet in terms of like the architecture and how, like, where things gonna really go. But something like this, you know, obviously just temporarily is totally fine, and just to get the logistics flowing, keep the factories running. Ultimately, this just has to go over to where that is. So I can cut that now. And then say number 6, join. Oh shit, doesn't quite reach, does it not? Oh, it's just a little too long. Or too short, I mean. Alright, there we go. That's what this episode has all been about. So a little ham-fisted, you know, towards the end, just getting it done, just making sure it works. But we could just tidy up some of this, hide some of the wires, put the roof on this bad boy. I'm thinking of adding a second floor up here and just having a ventilation floor. So like 2 wall height will cover the exhausts or the chimney stacks, and then just have another floor up above it, and we could do some stuff up there. That could handle like some of where the material goes, maybe some of the sorting, because the packaging and sorting room I have downstairs, it's nice, but it's way too small for the amount of stuff we're going to be producing now. So just really quickly, let's just have a last look at this whole place running. So some of the machines have actually slowed and stopped for a minute. I'll have to check out why that is. I think it's just the belts trying to carry everything out at the moment, getting backed up, I would assume. Oh no, they're actually just slow on getting crude oil. They should have enough, because we have... let's just check how much crude oil do they need. They need 30. 30 times 20 is 600, and we know that we're producing 600, so it's probably just a case of filling up the pipes and keeping them full, and then we're producing heavy oil residue as a byproduct, which is filling up down there now. So there we go. Nice, we got a nice consistent flow at least coming on now. And that'll just trickle all the way along here and all the way out. The speed! Feels good, man. Yeah, so I would imagine what's happening is some of the oil is going into the fluid buffers, and that's just taking a bit of time away from where the oil needs to go. Because some of it's just getting held and stored in here before it goes further out and out that way. I would imagine that's what's happening, so just give it enough time, and it'll all backfill and be totally fine, I think. So didn't get to do the transport route, but obviously the trains are automatically carrying things, so plastic is now going to like fill up over there way quicker, and because we already have the right amount of quick wire, what I can do is just drive over there super quick, turn on those assemblers, and we should see like all of them being powered on and staying on this whole time. In the next episode, it's going to be about cleaning this place up. Trying to tuck away things, make it look a bit nicer, and then working on the train stations and stuff to bring together the other materials to start making computers, right? So we should have everything we need. I might build a cable factory, maybe. Where's my car? Is it not around here, by the way? Oh, it's at the back. Yeah, cable I don't think I make enough cable. So that might be a pretty easy little factory to make, just pure cable. Hook it up to the train network, and that'll be... computers will be the focus of the next episode, really. And a bit of the tidying up of this area, or at least showing off how it looks after I've tidied it up. So just gonna drive down, turn on those machines. That'll be a nice little final thing to kind of do. And we'll see our train delivery come in, hopefully bringing more than what we've been carrying in. I think the trains at the moment have been bringing in somewhere around 200 to 300 plastic when the trains do arrive. The one train arrives. Now we should see it. Obviously it's gonna take a little while, but we should see over 1,000 coming in easily with each journey. There's a train waiting over there. That's not the one I made, is it? Why would it be waiting there? Oh, that's okay. Oh, it's coming in now to pick up its first extra batch. Oh, wait, it must have already done it. Maybe it... oh, yeah, it probably just did it on the other side. Okay, cool. It's coming in now. Don't know if I can get there in time. I'm racing against the train to get to the top and see how much it's going to unload. It does take a while for the loading and unloading process, so might be able to see how much it had. And you haven't actually seen this place with its roof on yet. 1,339, so it's already way more than it had before. It was coming in with like 200 or so each time. So I better get out of the way. I don't know what happens. I guess I either glitch out or I die or something. So we'll let that unload, and I'll just go downstairs, turn on the extra assemblers, and we can say, hey, we're now full production for circuit boards. And I think I make enough quick wire for all those machines to be on. I think. Here we are. Assemblers number 4 to 6. Boom. And 10 to 12. Boom. Manufacturers are off at the moment, obviously. Oh, are we full up? We must be full of circuit boards already. Okay, just really quickly, let's throw in an awesome sink. Oh, I have to go around this way, do I? Any way I can hook up power here just super quickly? Where did I do power? Oh, yeah. Just drain this out a little bit, and that'll just allow us to keep the machines flowing and allow all the things to start trickling down again. And I wonder how much does circuit boards make for you? Oh wow, seems good. Seems pretty good from the 22,000 per minute we're making. But obviously we're draining faster than we're bringing in, so you gotta bear that in mind. I'm just trying to empty this out a little bit. Cool. Well, that's really going to be it for the end of the episode. Let's just do then, so what we did was crude oil extraction, whoops, and plastic refinement. But I haven't done the transport routes for computers. That's what that was there for, so pretty good. Feel like I got a lot done. A lot of just heavy building, so there's probably a lot of cuts of when I was just doing all those repetitive tasks. But it's nice to see now all of these machines kicking into gear again. And they're just totally back, like just totally filled up at the moment, so we're not going to see all these trickling down just yet until they start churning out more and more circuit boards. But yeah, I'll leave this on just to empty this out so we can have things flowing for the next episode. And then, of course, we have our lovely manufacturing room with all the cables neatly tucked away up there. Looking good. Alright, that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching. Apologies for the delay in this episode. I don't want to be making excuses, but I was sick, and then I had a wedding to go to, and I almost didn't go because I was that sick. But then I was fine basically when I got back, but then Manderlords and Steamfest kind of happened. I actually recorded all the Manderlords on one day, and then I was just like frantically trying to get prepared and get everything in order for this episode to try and get it out in time, but I just did not have the time. So I also had stream commitments to do on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, so I just left myself no time. But from now on, it really should just be every Thursday. I've got no other commitments coming up that has any indication that I'm going to be blocked. I've just gotten over a sickness, so I shouldn't be sick again, so touch wood that everything should be fine Thursdays from here on out. And if I can, I'll try to make it up to you guys and even get a second episode out in a week. If I ever have any extra time at all, I'll put it into Satisfactory. Alright, so let me know what you want to see next in the next few episodes and stuff, and what I should be doing. As always, do love reading the comments. People have really good suggestions all the time as I get to making the adaptive control units. So that's what the computers are for, the adaptive control units. And we have a heavy modular frame factory to do, which I know everybody loves, so that'll be coming up as well. Alright, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey guys, thank you very much for watching, and remember, if you want to support the channel directly, you can click the join button to become a channel member. Doing so will get your name in the credits, as well as loyalty badges and emotes to use in the comments. You'll also get exclusive access to my Discord, where there's dedicated channels for each series I'm doing, and it's a great place just to meet others and make some friends.